want to talk about trucks now?
Yeah.
Trucks are cool.
I love trucks.
Yeah, you got to drive trucks.
I know. I can't believe I even got to drive trucks. I'm Sara Price, and I am a professional off-road racer. Kind of done a lot of different things from 2 wheels to 4 wheels, and kind of just want to keep on doing it all. I went from motocross to buying my first side-by-side, going racing in that, starting a business to be able to afford it, and then, yeah, I just kind of like started over again in the whole racing ranks and 4 wheels, and so got to a point where I was like, all right, like, what's next, you know? Like, I've done the short course stuff and the side-by-side works now, and like, I want to do like some trucks. Well, I was doing really good at one of Robby Gordon's races, and he had noticed like, hey, like, I think you'd be really cool in a truck, like, you should get in one. And he had some people possibly interested in sponsoring it to get me involved, and it didn't work out, so, but then that thought just stayed in my head, and I was kind of like, well, I actually do want to try a stadium super truck. That'd be really cool. So I looked at my savings account, had just enough money to pay for one race, and I was like, I'm going to take the chance. I'm going to go for it. You know, this one time. Like, if it doesn't work out, I did it, but that's all I got to do. So I took my money out of my savings account and bought myself a stadium super trucks ride, and I freaking had a blast, did really well, actually ended up leading some laps, which is unheard of, and not just like starting first and leading laps, like actually earned those leading laps. So yeah, so it was pretty cool to see how that evolved, and I'm not even kidding you, like the day after that, I got a call from one of the Australian teams, Paul Morris and Bill Hines. He was a team owner on there as well, and they flew me to Australia, and they're like, we just want to see if you're the real deal, and if so, like, we want to have you a part of our team. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, dreams do come true, like, did this just happen? I just spent my whole savings, and now I get to go racing, like, this is crazy. So yeah, I ended up racing stadium super trucks a little more, and then I get the call from Clyde Stacy that it's, hey Sarah, this is Clyde Stacy with RPM. I want to know if you're interested in driving one of my trucks in Baja. I'm like, are you kidding? Heck yes, like, thank you so much for calling me. Like, I'm so grateful. I'd love to. Are you kidding? Like, this is amazing. And I just was on cloud 9. I'm like, I never thought that, 1, I'd be able to go racing in Baja. Number 2, go racing in a trophy truck spec, and then a trophy truck. Like, what? This is crazy, you know? Well, like, if anyone who knows me, they know, like, the moment that I decide, like, I'm going to do something, it's like the blinders go on, and I'm just like, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to make it happen, or I'm going to make it the best it can possibly be. And I went straight into that, you know. Clyde finally called me, and he's like, hey, your first race is going to be the Laughlin Desert Classic. He's like, it's going to be in a truck we're trying to put another engine in with a supercharger on it, so you're technically in a trophy truck. He's like, and we're just going to see how this works. And I'm like, all right. And he goes, who's your navigator? And I was like, can I have Erica Sachs, who, like, she navigates with me in all the UTV stuff, and she spots for me in the short course. Like, he's like, yeah, but can she change a tire? And I'm like, yeah, we could change a tire. And it's like, from that moment on, I called Erica. I'm like, Erica, you get to be my co-driver. I was like, we're going to race trophy trucks. Like, what is happening? And I'm like, we need to go to Geyser right now, and we need to start practicing some 40-inch tire changes, because, like, I told her that we could change tires, and I was like, and I know we can. I'm like, we just need to prove to everyone, because that was the first thing everyone said. Well, like, you guys are too small. How are you going to change 40s? I'm like, I might be small, but I'm freaking mighty. Like, I'm a stocky little girl that's been stocky from, like, the day I was born. Like, I've always been muscular and pretty strong. And so I'm like, we just have to figure out the system to make this work, you know, because obviously I can't one arm a 40. It's going to take everything I have. And we went to Geyser. We got to check out the truck we're going to go race in. We got fitted in it. And yeah, we dialed in our tire changes, and we got them down to under 3 minutes. We went testing that same day. I got in the truck for the first time with Rick. It was like, oh, okay, like, this is pretty crazy. Like, I'm with Rick, who builds the truck right now, you know, getting to go drive with him, and then I'm supposed to get in. It went really well. Testing was great. And, you know, it was really funny because, like, me and Erica, we kind of, like, everyone was, like, so stoked to hear that we get this opportunity. And then everyone's like, oh, you're going to love it. It's like a desert couch. And we're like, huh, this is going to be so nice. We're used to, like, you know, UTVs and, like, all this stuff where we're just kind of, like, in stock things, just getting bounced around, you know, and pushing it. After that testing session, me and Erica both looked at each other and we're like, I don't know who was saying these are, like, desert couches, because, like, obviously they weren't going fast enough, because I'm freaking sore. And she's like, yeah, I don't understand this. I'm like, because it means you can hit everything harder. You have bigger tires, you have more suspension, you have more power. It just means you can go faster over those things that usually you can't even go a quarter of that speed in, you know? So you're still getting beat up if you're going to be pushing it and, you know, use the equipment the way it's built to be used. So, yeah, it went really good. And the first race, we just wanted to kind of get our feet wet, not do anything stupid. And we did just that. I think we got second our first race. So it was a smaller race, obviously, and we were in, like, the unclassified class. So good race to get our feet wet. It was super awesome. And then Clyde's like, all right, cool. I think we're going to put you back in the truck with spec engine. The same engine, there's the same truck, but different engine. He goes, and we're going to make this a legit spec program for you girls. And he's like, I can't believe that, you know, you girls have worked this hard already and proven like you guys are meant to be here. And so he really put the effort into us and, like, gave us the chance, and he gave us the right equipment and team to do so. And we utilized it. Like, that was our 100% focus. Like, we put everything we had into making the Trophy Truck program work with RPM, and we did just that, because not only did we get some seat time underneath our belts and get to work with Clyde to make the truck better and better, but we ended up getting to go to a Baja. In 2018, we got to go to Baja for the first time in the spec truck. We knew we had the speed, you know, you just had to find the happy medium in off-road racing. Because obviously you got to go fast where you can, but then you also have to reel it back where you can't, where there can be a problem or you can cause a problem. So we had a lot of issues with the vehicle, with the truck. It was just like random things like fuel pumps that would kind of like leave us out or behind. So we didn't get to have the results we wanted to show our pace. But then when it came to 2019, I think everyone knew we had the pace, we just didn't have the results. And then we met business. Like, we were like, we're coming in this year. Like, we have 4 Wheel Parts as our title sponsor. We have all our sponsors who saw us, like, have potential a year before. They all stepped up to be a part of the program. And Clyde gave us he put tons of money into the truck, redoing the wiring, the dash, to make sure we didn't have any weird issues again. And so I knew we had the best equipment. Me and Erica, we now are pretty, like, seasoned with this truck. We know the program, and we're just ready to do it, you know? Like, we're coming there to win. We're not going there to just finish. Like, I want to win this championship. And so I made the decision that year that I wanted to do every single mile if Clyde let me. And Erica's like, I don't know if I want to do every single mile. She's like, I might get out for San Felipe. It's a little brutal there. And I'm like, I don't blame you. But yeah, Clyde and everyone was kind of like, you sure? Like, you're kind of committing like championship suicide right now, because you're winning the points for the championship and you're about to do something that requires 2 drivers to be 100%, at least, you know, 2 or 3. And I'm like, you know what? I am 100% sure I want to do this, because I think I might drive the whole team crazy if I get out of the truck. So, like, I might as well just stay in the truck. And I'm not kidding you, the 1000, we barely made any mistakes. Like, it's the craziest thing. I make more mistakes. In desert racing, you're going to make mistakes, no matter what. And you just hope that they're not major ones. They're just little upsets and nothing big where you have to stop. And yeah, we had 2 mistakes, and it was just like clipped the rock on the front right a little bit, and we had a slow leak, and then I don't even know what the other one was. It was something stupid. you know, I was super focused the whole time. It was kind of crazy, you know. Erica ended up getting in, and we had my mechanic at the time, Preston Murray, get in through San Felipe night section. And he even, when he got out, he was just like, I think she got faster. Like, he goes, she's not tired. She's doing great. Like, and my dad was so grateful to hear that, because he's in the chase truck falling asleep probably. He's all tired, you know, and he's like, and she's out there racing. How is she doing that when I'm like, you know, tired here chasing her? But then the last 100 miles, I have to say, was the toughest. The last 100 miles was crazy because the sun's now coming up. I was like, is there lights behind me? Is like someone catching us? Like, what is happening right now? Like, I feel like there's lights. It was the sun coming up that I was seeing. And so it was like kind of playing tricks on you, like, oh, okay, it's just the sun. Okay, I still need to stay on my A game. And you don't get to pre-run the last 30 miles. So like where you start the race is where you also come in. And that gets to be kind of difficult. No matter what, every race that's a little bit difficult, because it's like you just have to follow the GPS so closely. And yeah, it was funny. That was an interesting one, just trying to get back to the finish line and just make sure you don't make a mistake there, you know. So yeah, pretty cool, you know, pretty cool to see everyone at the finish line too being so pumped for us. And then my dad like, don't get out right away. And I'm like, why? Like, it's fine. And he's like, had to grab me because my knees, I didn't realize that, like, from sitting that long, I guess just your joint kind of is hanging in that truck, you know, like on the pedals, but you don't realize it, but it kind of just, I don't know, it was like my knees weren't together almost, they were just like hanging. And so like I had to wait for my knees to come back, which is the weirdest thing to think about, because I have good knees. But yeah, I was glad my dad actually like was like there to hold me to get out of the truck, because I didn't realize that it was going to be that taxing. But that was like the main thing that kind of like stood out. And obviously I smelled really bad, which Erica hates getting out of the truck next to me because I have to pee my pants and I always smell horrible. So, and then like even like I'm talking to BF Goodrich and I'm like, you don't want to get close, I promise you. I just want to know what place we got. Did we do it? Did we wrap up the championship? Where are we? How far ahead? Or are we ahead of them? Is there someone between us? Like, what's going on? You know, it's just like the timing ends up being quite nerve-wracking at the end of Baja races. So you're just kind of sitting there waiting, and you're like, okay, like the next morning we wake up, figure it out, and we were trying to like just put the numbers together, and we did it. We came in second at the Baja 1000, and we won the Score International Championship, and we did every single mile of that freaking year. So that's pretty cool. What does racing mean to me? It means everything to me, to be honest. Without racing, I would, I don't even know what I would be doing. Like, I can't function without it, to be honest. Like, it's in my blood, in my DNA, and it's the one thing that I'll have in my life for the rest of my life. Like, if it's an old lady at 80 years old racing lawnmowers, like, bring it on.
Every time we climb in our cars and pull our belts tight, new memories and stories are created. We are on a mission to bring these stories to light, both for our community and for those outside off-road to understand the allure. So please help us in sharing these stories.